This is good. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, there is a special somebody here with me this week. So there are here this week. My name is Jess, she is Zoe,
Hi.
She is Janet, she is Grace, and they are Nori. And welcome to the Novel Bunch YouTube channel. Bear with me, I am eating. I've literally only just got back. So Mama and Nana are on their way out. So there is other someone being good. But yeah, I've literally just got back from work. So I am about to tuck into this mountain of food.
I'm going to tuck into dessert.
You. But we are here today for the. We are here for Grace's Garden live stream, picked by the lovely Grace.
Who's here?
Who is here? She is real.
Not gone.
Not gone.
The times we're going to make jokes like that is going to be so many.
Oh my god, I just yeah. So, a few little housekeeping things before we go around. We have had our next pick. We've got our next pick selected. So, July we're reading Loveless by Oseman, and I picked August we're reading Night All Blood is Black by David Diop.
I should have prepared.
Then we're
I've got
reading
it over there.
Transcendent Kingdom by Yasi is September's pick. That's Janet. October is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and that is Nori's pick. And then The Binding by Bridget Collins is Mariette picks November. So Grace, we're just waiting on you.
Oh, is it December?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got time. You got plenty of time. But I'm going to hand over to Grace now. Yeah, basically so I can eat. But the floor is yours, my darling.
Okay. Well, this is what we are reading. Crime thriller, basically. But I think you all picked up on it actually. That as you're reading it, you realise it's based on like a true story.
Oh yeah, 5 pages in, my friend.
Yeah, see, when I chose it, I realised it was based on that, and then I started reading it, and I was like, "Hang on, I think this is something else." But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yes.
I don't know what else to say.
I don't remember what rating.
So what did everybody think of it? We'll start off with our thoughts and ratings, like just basic thoughts.
What was the rating?
Yeah, so what did you guys rate it? And just general thoughts. Tracy, you go first, this is your pick.
Well, I'd rate it a 3. Like, I thought it was good, but because I knew the real story, I wasn't shocked by anything really. So, and I like to be like, surprised. So, if I knew nothing, I think it'd be like a lot higher. But yeah.
No. We're getting distracted by the kitten. Janet, you want to go? Green. We can't hear a thing you're saying, Janet. Let's do this test beforehand. Nope, you've muted.
Okay, hang on, let me try that again. Go with.
Damn it, Janet. Nothing. No.
Try yelling.
I had something then.
You've muted.
You really should. Yeah, I know. When I put my earplugs out, it unmutes me. It mutes me. When I put them in, you can't hear me. It doesn't make any sense because we work all the time. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I was gonna say. I purposely took in the story before I read it or while I was reading it because I think I kind of knew that if I knew the story, it would probably affect the story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think that's why I rated it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it because I didn't have any of the background knowledge, even though I kind of had an idea. Like I was like, maybe it's just I had a vague kind of recollection of the story once I looked into it, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't read a lot of like thrillers and mystery, I guess, and detective fiction. So not that I'm, like too good for it or whatever, but I just sometimes and I was pleasantly surprised. So yes to
Nice.
that.
She's too good for it. She's too good for it. I love that. Nori?
I gave it 3 stars. Just because I know way too much about the true crime that this is based on. I have watched several documentaries about it. One of them at least 5 times. It's weirdly one of my favourite comfort watches, this documentary. Just sort of like watch it go, yes. This is wrong, but also very right, but also very wrong. But, so I gave this book 3 stars mainly because I knew all the twists and turns going in. And there were some bits in this book that aren't like the true crime, which I was like, I want to be like that. Like, I want to get like a proper full account of this truth. That's why I watched the documentaries about it, because it's insane, the real crime when you look into it.
Oh yeah.
So for me, like, this book fell a little bit short. But yeah, that's my opinion. It's also yellow.
Zozo. My book isn't loading, which is the most annoying statement in the world. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I'm there. No, I'm not. Yes, it is. Woo! I think I gave it 4. I didn't. Yeah, I gave it 4. I didn't know the case. Maybe you're worried. Should I be worried that I don't know that? No. My dad did when I said to him about the book. But no, I really liked it. I called the twist, the whole that's what the thing was. I called that about maybe 30 pages in. And then I was sat reading it with my dad and my sister. I was like, I called it, and they were like, what? I was like, don't worry about it. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was quite an easy read. I gave it 4 because I gave like books I've liked a lot less 3, so I couldn't really give it 3 and match it up with that. So yeah, I thought it was easy read. It was kind of like I found some like little errors in it, like some continuity errors, and which I'll bring up. But on the whole, I thought it was a really interesting story. The characters are quite relatable. I think it was really good. What do we do? And what is happening? And I was really happy with certain parts of it. Yeah, I thought it was a easy, interesting read. And I think I think it was nice not knowing the case that it was based on, because I didn't know what I was reading about. So, hello, Bun. Yeah, it was a good pick. There's a lot of like relatable names in it, right, Grace?
Yeah.
Hey. And Zoe. Yeah. Like you and me. I'm not sure about Mariette. I gave it 3 stars. The main reason I gave it 3 was I found the characters a little hard to get on with. Like John and Clara initially, I found them really difficult to relate to get into, listening to. The only way I got through it was by listening to the audiobook and reading it at the same time and listening to it on 2.5 speed. Yeah.
The chipmunk version.
It wasn't. It really wasn't that chipmunky, because the person reading it read it like this, and I was like, "Oh God, screw me now." Yeah, because I obviously knew the case that it was based on, and when we go into the spoiler zone, we'll say what case it's based on, because it's like a big twist.
Yeah, I will definitely go on a rant about it.
As soon as I knew, because I don't really pick up on these things really quickly, by about chapter 7, I was like, oh, wait, hang on, I know exactly what this is. And it cheapened it for me a little bit because I knew it. And also, like you said, things are different as well. But as soon as I knew what it was, I was like, oh no. Oh, I know where this is going. This isn't going to entertain or thrill me. But I did really enjoy the last 2 chapters, like when they're down the coast, and that big shocking events Jess has to choose. That was really interesting, and I did like the character of Grace. I actually really liked her in the end. I think Grace was my favourite. Which is really, really interesting. Also, this Grace is a favourite theme as well, but still, yeah, I gave it 3 stars. I think it definitely could have been stronger in the writing, but it was an easy read, based on a true story, and I think it could have gone further. I think it could have been its own thing, but taken inspiration. But yeah, that's my thought. Elgar, stop climbing my legs.
Sarah,
Yeah.
sweet fluffy baby there.
Yes, both sweet fluffy babies are there. One of them trying to eat my ankles, and the other trying to climb them.
No.
Right.
But yeah,
She's had a nap. She's good.
Grace, the floor is yours.
Well, my first thoughts were I thought the pairing of John and Cara was a bit odd, and at times like it felt because I don't know if they actually explicitly say his age. I feel like he's like late 40s maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
and she's like 22 or something.
Yeah. Also, when you tell me when you want to go into spoilers, because I will put the spoiler zone banner across as well.
Oh yeah, you can put it up now if you want to. Probably just say our spoiler by accident.
Oh, there we go. Spoiler zone straight away.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
no,
It
so
was
I
the
just
butler.
yeah, their pairing was odd because their age difference, but I mean, you know, it's not that weird. But sometimes it felt like they were trying to make them like him seem interested in her at times, and I was a bit like, don't think I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
like
felt
that.
that too.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't pick that up really. At first I was a bit like, is that gonna go there? But I felt like he was just being more of like, because he's a dad and he's not trying to be a dad to her, but I felt like it was more like that kind of relationship. Obviously, it never went anywhere, thankfully.
Yeah, no, I'm glad it didn't go.
Yeah,
but I
that'd be
did
really, really
I
weird.
kind of felt like, oh well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think at first I was like, how are they gonna link up? How are their lives gonna cross? But I don't know. I think towards the end, I was like, "Oh, cool. All right, fine."
Yeah.
I think I immediately picked up on the fact that it was going to be almost like a mentor relationship.
Yeah.
And I did kind of like that, and that she then goes on to do journalism and everything like that. It was also interesting seeing the case from outsiders and seeing a case that you know so well blow up in a way that you're not expecting it to.
And like, I don't know if the original case was based in a small town. I guess.
The big difference is it's an American case,
Yeah.
which is how. We're in the spoiler zone. It's how Dee Dee Blanchard got away with sort of saying her daughter was sick for so long is that she could move her around the hospital system, and because they've not got like a national health service in America, it was a lot harder to keep track. And it's just fascinating. I do highly recommend the documentary Mummy, Dead and Dearest.
Yeah,
it is on YouTube for free.
There's also
Enjoy.
a series called The Act. That's
Mhm.
you know, like a series version.
I need to watch that. Also, Cult Leader by Spencer Henry, which is the place where I first heard about it. Episode 10, I think it is. It's a podcast. It's really good. It's really funny. So yeah, it's one of his really early ones. Because the real life counterpart with Sam, he was only hard in February 2019. He only received his sentencing then. So really, really recently.
Yeah.
When was this book published?
It was like last year, I think.
Was it? Oh, that's why they were allowed to publish it.
Yeah, maybe. Because he recently got his sentence.
I think because it might have been better because they didn't have a character fully based on Nicholas Godejohn, which I was slightly disappointed in because he's a not good human being, and I was like, I can't wait to meet this character. But he was sort of replaced by these two weird twins. It was like then there's like that twist of there's twins somehow. I got very confused.
I thought that it was going to be that Grace and Zoe are twins or something like that. and I was like, oh, that would be really creepy, cool, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I thought it was the twins at first, and like Zoe is the one that Kara saw at the graveyard.
Yeah.
Was that a twin?
Mm.
Have they been hiding her? And that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But I was my suspicions around Grace actually being the killer. I actually kind of thought quite early on.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like my initial reaction was like, yes, she's gonna be the one. Like that's how it's gonna go. But it definitely crossed my mind. I was like, it definitely could have been planned. Like somehow she's planned this. Whether she can actually walk or not, I don't know. But like,
Yeah.
she definitely have some plan.
I wasn't expecting the twist that she was actually a murderer, because in the actual case it is Nikki's Deonn. And she allegedly was in the fetal position in the bathroom, and he was the one that did the killing.
Yeah. Yeah, because I thought she was involved somehow. I thought, it's going to be that she's had an argument and it was an accident, and that was kind of that. But yeah, that was what I could think of anyway. But yeah.
Any other points regarding that? Tracy, you got any questions for us? Like any points you want to leave the discussion with?
I did, but I didn't write them down because I'm a moron, so I can't remember. But
if you want, I can go through the entire plot of Mummy Dead and Dearest.
Go for it.
Nori's superpower.
We start at the town where they live in a house that's painted pink that they got through Habitat for Humanity. They've been to Disneyland many times. Nicholas Gaujon apparently did some stuff in a McDonald's for 9 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the plot. That's it.
Yeah, yes. The end. They all lived happily ever after.
Then Nicholas Gaujon claims to have multiple personality disorder.
Oh, it's Jekyll and Hyde.
Ooh.
Yeah. And he says that Gypsy Rose Blanchard also has multiple personality disorder, but she was like, no, he said he wanted his multiple personalities to also have girlfriends, so I made up some.
Okay.
Watch the documentary, that's all I can say. It's a hoot.
I was really thrilled that at the end, John gets his happy ending with Ruth and his son.
Yeah.
Because I was like, as soon as the book started and it started going on about Simon, was his dad Simon?
The dad was Simon. Yeah.
As soon as they're like, he did it, it was the dad. I was like, it was so not the dad. And then because they were making such a thing out of John having read the article and everyone hating him, I was like, I bet you he's actually probably right in his thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe not to sum up the house, but so for me, like when this started, you could tell that he actually was so wanted to do these therapy sessions, and it actually was genuine. He wanted to do it and he wanted to make it work, and I did feel kind of bad for him. And I was like, am I supposed to feel bad for him? Am I going to feel really bad that I felt bad? But then the ending, I mean, I know he was I was really thrilled that he kind of felt that he could put that to bed and he could now focus on what he really wanted to do. It was just like this whole Grace story of being thinking that he didn't necessarily want to be in it and figuring it out, but has to. And so for him to kind of be able to be like, let's close the chapter on that, I can now completely say I'm done with it.
Yeah. And to some extent, I'd say the same for Clara as well. She's had this hanging over her. She used to be really close friends with Grace, and then Meg kind of gets in the way, like doesn't want her little girl going off and growing up and things like that. And then Clara gets her own happy ending. She's away from Grace and she's doing what she wants to do.
Yeah. It was I think it was the relationship between Clara and Grace was quite interesting. I thought that was it was quite a subtle build, but obviously they had two things together, so it was quite a nice characterization.
And I definitely found as it went on, I don't know at what point I kind of found I was more invested in the story. Like at the beginning, I was kind of bored. Like, I think it's always like whenever I read books like this, not that I read them often, but it is like I understand why there's like kind of maybe a slower build up in some cases because you need to have all the facts, you know, like the initial scene and with the characters and whatever. But I mean, I'd say definitely by like halfway through, I think once the story got going, even though it wasn't perfect, you know, there were some inconsistencies and stuff. I definitely think like also going between the two characters, I like that there was a dual narrative. I think that sort of kept you on your toes a little bit as well.
Love myself a dual narrative.
Yeah. And I liked how, yeah, maybe it could have been better how their like lives crossed a little bit. Because I felt a little bit like, I don't know, it was weird. I think Kara's narrative was a bit like, oh, she's an adult, oh, but she's still like treated almost like a child a little bit. Because I mean, I guess because her mum is so protective all of a sudden because of what happened to the neighbors. So it's this weird like she's an adult, but she's not being treated like an adult. But I don't know.
Yeah.
She finally found her own. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there was kind of the same with Grace as well, I think.
Yeah.
Because obviously with Meg Munchausen and everything, because that's the twist, Munchausen's their proxy. Because of that, like Grace was treated as being so much younger than she was, but she's actually the same age as Clara. And yeah, I find that really interesting as well. Like seeing her suddenly, like she suddenly grows up, whereas as Meg, Clara is much more gradual.
Yeah.
Will you come to see us, everybody? Yeah, of course. Yeah. Also, sorry, I've just caught up with the football and we're 1-0 up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, England scored in the first 2 minutes. I heard screaming from family, which is in that our house is like L-shaped, so my room is here and the lounge is here, so I can hear everything because there's a garden. No, wait, garden. There we go.
Yeah.
That bit's house.
We're talking about them growing up. Yeah. I thought it was quite interesting because when I was at school, I did a drama. Was it A-level? I'm asking you as if you were there. A-level? Yeah, I did a drama A-level and I had to do a piece, like a devised piece, and we were given one stimulus that we had to kind of build upon. And ours was something to do with, I think we started with the yellow wallpaper. And then moved on. Anyway, we ended up using Munchausen syndrome by proxy as our stimulus. So we built a whole piece around that. And I think I was the twin. There was two. My friend Eden and I were twins, and we were kind of effectively pursuing dolls. But Eden was the twin that was victimized, and I wasn't. So we did a lot of research into Munchausen syndrome, and obviously it was an interesting, sensitive topic as well to try and portray for a piece of drama. And so for me, I've looked at it from that perspective. So when I was reading the book and I was looking at all the kind of thoughts and all the different ways that Meg was talking to her and the fact that she was dead, I was like, I feel like there's going to be more to this. I don't actually think there's really going to be anything wrong with her. And I think it came from when she started talking about her pills. She said, well, this big pink one keeps me alive. And I was like, does it? And then, so I was very much thinking from that point early on. So Grace was being so childish and she was made out to be so young. And my initial thought was like they made such a thing about the fact that I was like, why do people, because as you say at some point, people will question why I hang out with a girl 4 or 5 years younger than me all the time. And I was like, they've made such a point of that. Yeah. They obviously know so well. I wonder if actually she is 4 or 5 years younger. So it was kind of like, so like you say, somebody grows up so quickly because in theory she's been weaning herself off her mum's childish abused her for so long. It's a really interesting development. She suddenly becomes a woman. You know?
Yeah, because they made a point earlier on as well about how childlike her voice was, even as a young girl. And that's immediately when I thought this is based on something else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What made you pick it? You just read about it and then want to read them and want to do it?
Watch any clips of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and you will... It's terrifying of how her voice is.
Yeah, what made
Sad, isn't it?
Yeah, what made you pick the book, Grace?
I like thrillers, and this one I kept seeing it advertised, and then I was like, I really want to read it, so that's why I chose it, really.
Fair enough.
Nice.
And then immediately after reading this one, I read Tell No One, and I try not to get the two mixed up.
Nice. No idea.
I reread the prologue after I finished reading it, and it made it more creepy. I don't know if you've read them. It's like Meg's point of view, and she goes into the one, Grace. I don't know what I thought was going to happen when I first read it, but I thought, like, this was everything after, and I was like, wait, why is Meg still alive at the end of this? And then I was like, no, wait, it's the prologue, it's before everything happened. But it was interesting reading it again, knowing everything that's happened and kind of hearing her thoughts after knowing what really went down. If you didn't reread the prologue, I would recommend it. It just makes it a bit more creepy.
Yeah.
No, the epilogue was really interesting. I really liked the add-on of the epilogue because I didn't see that coming. Even when they were saying Grace is lying to you, Grace is lying to you, sort of thing, like she'll turn everything around, like make it out like we did this and everything. The fact that she actually was the murderer was really interesting.
And she got away with it. I like that she was just allowed to go.
Yeah, because it's like she's still out there. She's still at large when really Gypsy Rose was apprehended and Nicholas Godezon was apprehended and been sentenced.
Yeah. Grace is
real
gone.
quickly. They posted the murder weapon to themselves.
Oh yeah! They posted the murder weapon to themselves.
Yeah,
in real life. Yeah.
not in the book.
Go on, Nori, tell us all about it.
Oh, what part do you want to know?
The mailing of the murder weapon.
Oh yeah. So there was a knife, and they decided like, oh, we can't take this knife with us on this Greyhound bus. It's covered in blood and our fingerprints. Oh, Nicholas Goldjohn's fingerprints. They put it in a padded envelope, wrote Nick's home address, where he lived with his mother and stepfather and siblings, and they posted it to himself. Which I think that arrived a couple days after they did. Because they took the bus, like, across the country or something.
Wow.
You've got to hand it to them, right? Commitment to the cause. Oh, yeah. And they claimed that, like, Dee Blanchard had kicked Gypsy Rose out for some reason, and like that's why they didn't have any of the stuff, and she needed a place to basically dust down, and that's why no alarms were raised for the longest time. And then they Gypsy and her mum
on the Facebook page.
Yeah, they shared a Facebook page in real life as well. So Nicholas Godezon wrote on the Facebook page like something to the effect of, "I'm going to kill her."
No, it was after the fact. It's like, I've killed her, slashed her like a pig, and her innocent daughter. I can quote it verbatim, but it is very sort of graphic what he puts.
Yeah.
So I won't. Basically, the first thing was, that bitch is dead. And they're like, what's going on? Have you been hacked? And then there was the long, quite graphic.
Yeah. And then the police were like, yeah, no, we better go and check this out. Well, the neighbours raised alarm with police. And eventually they gave the neighbours the go-ahead to... they gave the neighbours the go-ahead to go into the house, and that's when they found Dee Dee. Nice.
Wow.
So it was again a neighbour that found her. Just the police were involved a bit earlier on. Yeah, there's a thing, isn't it, in this book that the police they don't like or trust the police because there was a case of another guy that there was negligence and they're going to get sued for it. I think they tried to wipe the police out of the story quite quickly, so you were made to feel like John and Carl were the only detectives. So, because at one point, so I think when they found the diary, and Clara was like, I need to tell up to him, then it's like, don't tell up to him. And they were like, okay, and that was it. She just wasn't part of it anymore. Yeah. So, the police really weren't even part of it, were they? I think it was made kind of like this weird juxtaposition, isn't it? Because they've got a whole community that's kind of figure out this case. Whereas it's such an incommunal access to things, and so against everything they think, because this family are like. So it's quite kind of bittersweet, isn't it? That the police aren't anything to it, and it's such a community effort, and it turns out to not be anything. But I think there were definitely a couple of plot threads that kind of went nowhere. So the case that the police failed on, that went nowhere. The twins felt like they kind of came out of nowhere. Like suddenly, they're connected to Danny. Okay. It felt like they were just shoehorned in as a Nicholas goes on. Like substitute that they could have been done in such a better way. Yeah.
I also felt with the twins and that whole plot line. It could have just been someone she spoke to on the internet. It didn't have to be some connection. And also, I was going to bring this up as well. When she says that whichever twin it was that messages the Facebook page, obviously no one knows what the mum's really like. But I was just kind of like, I mean, it's very lucky that Grace was the one who saw the message and not the mother. Like, coincidence? I don't know.
I also always got confused with which twin they were talking about. It's like,
is
this the twin who went to prison, or is this the twin who drives the trucks? Are they the same twin, or is it a different twin?
They might, like, if you're going to put twins in, you make them different. Yeah. Like, I know twins are, like, twins, and they're basically, especially if especially if you're an identical twin. If you're an identical twin, like, I get that you're really, really close and everything like that, and that you might have a very similar personality, but you still make you still are different, and you still make the characters different, unless they're literally from The Shining going, hello, that's Danny, saying things at exactly the same time. That's so creepy. Because you do get twins that literally finish each other's sentences and are creepy as hell. I apologize to any twins watching. But especially if you're fraternal twins, you have very, very individual personalities. And I think that's where these twins were lacking, even though they are identical. They were lacking individual personalities. You might as well just have one single character rather than having...
I think it would have been easier if it was just one guy.
Yeah, because it was also that struggling power dynamic, because the guy that was supposed to have murdered Meg was then suddenly a weakling, and he couldn't stand up to his brother or to Grace, and the other one was just, I thought the twins were very inconsistent.
I think that's supposed to make you question it, though, like the fact that Grace blamed one of the twins, and then from John's perspective that he's obviously weak and he couldn't have done it. I think maybe that's supposed to make you doubt it.
Did actually beat someone up pretty badly enough to go to prison, so one of them's strong.
Yeah. Well, you can definitely tell that. Who wrote it? I forgot who wrote it. Emily Elgar. Emily Elgar got confused because I have a continuity error in this book. Oh. I think I have the different page though, because I read it. I've got an iBook. Yeah. So mine's on 144, but I don't think that's what it is in the book. Yeah. I'm probably going to read this now. It's going to make sense. I read it like 5 times. Like, that isn't right.
144 is very that's only that's chapter 8 of this one.
Yeah, so I think I've probably got a different page.
There's like Zoe, Grace, Megan.
So it's when she's at John is in the pub with that guy, Dave. Yeah, the policeman. And he's got the photo of the boys when he kind of figures out who the twins are.
Wait, say again. It's what happens?
Well, let me see what that
So
is.
when he's in the pub and he's asking about, who would this person be? Which, Which I'm like,
It's
how
chapter
could the police?
16 in my. Yeah. So he's got an envelope, and John wants to look at the envelope of the picture.
Also, doesn't John give him like real vague information? It's like, oh yeah, I know exactly who that is from the very tiny bit of vague information you've given me.
Either way, the point being is Dave puts the picture on the table and he says, I don't have a photo of Robbie, who's Anthony's identical twin brother. And then a few sentences down, he says, Dave stabs the photo of Robbie with his forefinger again. He just said the photo. So which one is it? That's what confused me even more. Like, who did it? Yeah. Who then did this? He said, I don't have a photo of Robert. And then he says, Dave stabs the photo of Robert. I thought he just didn't have a photo of Robert. So she clearly got to it. Huh?
I think.
Maybe he meant Tony and Robbie.
He says he doesn't have photos. He's got a picture of one guy. He says he beat a poor guy to pulp outside a pub. He pleaded guilty and got 6 months. Was out in 4.
I don't have a photo of Robert.
He says, this is Anthony Craig. I don't have a photo of Robert. Then he says, Dave stabs the photo of Robbie.
Yeah, I think maybe they just got the names mixed up, I guess.
Exactly. So we were allowed to be confused because we also got confused.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better if it was just if like the guy had no connection to like the backstory. It was just one guy and he had gone to prison for beating up someone, but then had become a long haul trucker and just like made a profile on, because how it actually was is Nicholas Goldjohn was on a Christian dating website.
Yep.
And Gypsy was also on the Christian dating website. So that's how they met. So it would have been better if it was like something like that. So like Grace was a bit more rebelling and not being on like this is a website where terminally ill children chat to each other, which is like, that is one of the most depressing things I've ever heard in my life.
It really is. Mm. But yeah, that was my only continuity error I could find.
Is that what you've highlighted?
Yes, the writers who spoke to highlight.
Okay.
And then I bookmarked the page, but I couldn't tell you why.
Is any other points people want to raise?
Just that I wish this book was more like the actual case. But then again, I could just go and read about the actual case.
Yeah, see, I wish it was less like the actual case. I was more surprised. Because there was too many bits from the case that made it too obvious.
Yeah, I think I definitely would have preferred, if it was going to do the case, to have just done the case like it was. But if you're going to be inspired by something, take it in a different direction.
Yeah.
I think I was looking forward to it more being taken, rather than just going, it's not Middle America anymore, it's the West Country, let's just get some farmer accents going just to be a bit novel and things like that. We did that with the audiobook. Whenever it was Kara's chapter, she put on a West Country accent, like a really bad one. And when it was John,
Oh my God. I need to listen
to
to that now.
Yeah. Well, like I say, it's kind of read like this, but a bit slower. So you got to listen to it on 2.5 speed, because then it sounds kind of normal.
It's kind of foreshadowing. I didn't realise that before. Again, I'm on page 68, but it's probably not.
No.
It's chapter 6.
Yeah.
It's when John's on the phone to his son, and he says, Mum says I'm not allowed to play World of Warcraft anymore, which is really unfair because everyone at school is in it. And I've just started chatting to this kid in Hong Kong, and he's going to tell me the secret about how to get past. And he said, whoa. Kind of foreshadowing, isn't it, about speaking to random people on the internet? And how they're going to give you a secret about how to get past what.
Yeah.
Also, what 10-year-old plays World of Warcraft now? I mean, seriously, World of Warcraft is early 2000s. All people on World of Warcraft are adults who played World of Warcraft back in the day.
Yeah.
A great life.
Pretty much.
Let's talk about Dr. Rossi.
Huh?
He's an interesting character, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know why that was there. It's like, oh yeah, the doctor was how they blackmailed the doctor. It's like, did we have to add that?
That's how John found out about the pills, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's having the affair.
Dun, dun, dun. Grace,
Yeah,
your
I
thoughts? Oh, Janet, yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking, I don't know, I'm in two minds a little bit. Like, the first meeting with her, I guess it's obviously not meant to go well.
Mhm.
But I feel like that first meeting, I mean, why does Kara want to give her that card anyway? I mean, it's a card. Like, come on. Like, not that important. But
Mm.
in hindsight, I'm also like, well, maybe seeing the doctor wasn't that important the first time round, but then that wouldn't have given them the incentive to go the second time. But then she could have just told them straight up, like, "Oh yeah, this lady was a bit weird." Lol.
Lol.
Yeah.
Lol random.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought she was
Fine.
using the card. She was bringing the card to her to get information out of her, but then she got really upset because she just chucked it in the bin.
Yeah.
It's the same with
Yeah.
Amanda. I felt like it was kind of in there just so she could get the clues.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to do something good, but it was literally just, it was almost like a lazy shoehorn into giving the clues a little bit. I think, I don't know whether this is Emily Elgar's first book, but some of it definitely wasn't handled as subtly as it could have been. But I don't know whether that's just like thrillers and everything like that. Like mass market thrillers, they tend to be not as carefully woven as, say, something by Agatha Christie or
It felt a little, to use a video game term, fetch quest esque. So it's sort of like, take this thing to this person, then they tell you to go to this person because they want something from that person before they can give you the thing you want. You're going here, there, and everywhere to get the pile of string.
That is a good way to describe it, actually. I like that.
Yeah.
Fuck. Sorry, I'm just watching the rabbit, making sure she doesn't nibble stuff. She's like, like a monkey. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that, Nora. I think that's a really good way of putting it, Fetch Questy. I'm using that in the future, just so you know.
Oh, go ahead.
You're an absolute Jess.
Because in the real case, as soon as like doctors did try and raise alarms, but because Dee Dee got hold of the medical records, she knew which doctors were raising alarms and then switched to a different doctor. Then when they were like, oh, this was it, they went, okay, this is all the information I have on this. Here you go. And we're very cooperative.
It's absolutely crazy how much she got away with for how long. Yeah, she's incredibly clever, but also incredibly mentally ill as well. It's severe mental illness. I'd never heard of it until I listened to Spencer Henry talking about this case and mental health and things like that. It's just absolutely insane. But yeah, with America being the way it is with private healthcare, it's not actually that surprising that she managed to hide for so long. Once you get good at forging documents, you're good. Like you can get through.
Especially if you've got the sister guys like Megan Tracy did. Everyone loves her. She's amazing. She managed to steal from friends and everything.
Yeah.
Kind of got away with a non-death murder.
Yeah.
She just killed everything in Grace.
Yeah, it was abuse for the longest time. That's all it was just child abuse.
You know, one of the most emotional bits to me of her, like, was when she was in the hospital. There's just a flashback and she the beach at the end of Rose. No, with Clara. And she said, you know, that time we were in the hospital and then Grace personally remembers that she asked to help me. She was medical and laughing.
Yeah.
And she was thinking about remembering it. That was so sad.
It's trauma, don't do this, and the brain it switches stuff out and changes how you remember things. And yeah, it's not surprising that Clara blocked that out and the course of it is still nothing. Yeah.
I liked how it all ended on the beach actually with Gannon. And I thought it was quite symbolic for Grace to kind of go there. The death of the death of her brother kind of started her journey of abuse, didn't it? So going back there and leaving that scene as someone new kind of just the end of it for her. Yeah, which I think is quite powerful from yeah. And then John kind of tracking down and ending his life there as well. I was just there like, oh god, I like him now. Don't let him die. Don't let him die. I was like, I didn't really like you at the beginning, but
you know when what's her name? Grace has like the actual diary, like not the one that the police have, but like the sort of one that she wants them to find, which isn't really true.
Yeah.
And she goes on about how, yeah, I realised that if I don't save myself, then she's gonna kill me or something like that. Do you think Meg actually would have gone that far? And she would have killed her daughter after all the trauma of losing one child already? Do you think
no.
I think if she did, it would have been an accident. Because she needed her alive for her purpose, didn't she?
Yeah.
But I guess faking an illness like that with all those meds for that long would eventually kill someone, wouldn't it? It's something you don't actually need.
Yeah.
The extreme she was going to.
There wouldn't be like an autopsy either as well, because they'd be like, oh, it was this. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Do you think Grace put that in her diary to kind of give herself
to like justify herself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
But she's like, but if I get caught and they find this other version of this diary, I need something to
Yeah.
I don't know.
In the real world case, I definitely think Dee Dee would have one day killed Gypsy. 1000%.
Yeah. Again, maybe like it could have been accidentally, I think, potentially. But maybe it happened so poorly you convinced yourself that she died naturally. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's such a messed up case. It's so sad from every point of view, because Dee Dee was 24, I think, when she was pregnant, and the father was a lot younger. He was like 18.
Wow.
And she got pregnant, and he couldn't cope with it because he was so young. So he went off back to his family and left her on her own, basically. So she raised Gypsy on her own.
He did marry her. That was
he married her, and he couldn't cope, so he left. He eventually remarried and was a good father, but he never came back onto the scene. So,
I think he did try.
He tried to get hold of Gypsy, I think, but Dee Dee just completely blocked him.
Yeah. Also, the system is very much like, oh, if you're the mother, then you're more likely to get sort of like primary custody if there's ever that sort of thing. And the fact that he was told, even like since before Gypsy was probably able to comprehend anything, like, oh, she's got this, she's got that. So he's like, I can't take care of this child. So it was like literally since she was like 18 months, I think.
Why do we think that Charlie, the granddad, knows about the twins and knows about the fact that Meg's sick? Because when you have something like dementia or Alzheimer's, your short-term memory is really bad, but you do tend to get stuff coming back from older memories. But how would he know? How would he have known that? Like, how? If he clearly knows that Meg is sick, not embracing him, because he knows that the twins are the reason the boys get down there. How did he know that? He wasn't there. Well, he probably knows because it was relayed to him by Meg at some point. So he would know that Meg was sick because he would have seen it. Because Trace is in her 20s, so he's probably been ill for like 10 of those years, so he knows. Interesting that he knows about twins, isn't it? No, Simon knows about twins. It's Simon's twins. So yeah, he still knows that she's sick though, isn't he? Yeah. So maybe, yes. Well, no, I think Simon, he knows the twins are there. Yeah. He knows that the twins are there, but he doesn't know the Grace is sick. Yes, that's it. That's where I thought it was Charlie. Yeah, Charlie knows that his daughter is sick. Yeah. Yeah, he's granddad. Yeah. That's what it was.
No, no, sorry.
My bad, sorry.
That's alright. I'm good. But I'm like, should I bring up the real life case again? Because there is some interesting facts.
Go
about
for
that.
it.
Dee Dee's family sort of were like, yeah, something's wrong with Dee Dee. So she's always been slightly off, and the fact that they believe that Dee Dee killed her mother, sort of through making sure her mother was ill and she was like the carer. But also, apparently, Dee Dee's mother also had something similar. They both had the sort of similar mental illness. Probably not as pronounced as Dee Dee had it. But it's so. But watch the documentaries, guys. It's
Yeah, I definitely need to.
What came of the the bit in the book when they find the body off the cliff?
Yeah.
What happened with that? I feel like that was
Don't know what.
they thought it was her and it's not. And like, okay, so who is it then? Like, is it just somebody went to make
Someone else.
Yeah, it was just the red herring.
Red herring.
Yeah.
It would be nice to know who that was, though, right?
Yeah. Because I was kind of like, okay, like, good one. I was almost convinced, you almost had me there, but where would the rest of the story go if it was? But yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's just like one clue after another, and they don't really need it there. I mean, they kind of do, really. But, yeah.
There's a
I
lot
was
going
am I just forgetting like an entire chapter, or did nothing happen after that?
I think it's just the red herring.
Yeah.
How much it's meant to both John and Sarah, I think. Because they're so convinced that it's her, aren't they? She's like, it's just the head in the dress, it's just the head in the dress.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
there's not.
I slightly imagine that it might be that particular part of the story, just as me being like a wannabe writer as well. Might be like, oh, I could write a whole nother book about them solving that case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching,
I
ka-ching.
think it's around this part of the book. I think, yeah, Kara's just seen Zoe, I think. Maybe? Or she's going to, or something like that. But anyway, the whole twins, going back to the twins thing, where at one point I thought, what if Grace / Zoe has a twin? I was like, what if it's the twin who's pushed off one of the others? It's this whole other story with the girls and twins.
That would have been a good clip. Email Emily Elgar and get to do that. Or write it yourself.
I've got another twin story in mind, which I'm probably not going to write. So
I just remember one of them has their teeth filed down to points.
Yeah, ew.
It's like, what?
I think
Was it he did or they looked like?
It just looks like it.
Okay.
I think it's just the whole point, I think, is to make the whole town is supposed to feel as creepy as the entire scenario, isn't it? It's a very pathetic fallacy.
Yeah.
And I think that
Pathetic or prophetic?
pathetic.
Okay.
And they're very like, it's just the whole community suddenly gets together and they're like, oh, we love these people, we love this family, and we've always looked out for each other. But then they find out that actually Meg isn't this perfect person. They don't care anymore. Everybody goes back to who they were. Yeah.
I was going to say, I felt like that was probably the most realistic part of the book. Like, come from a small Devon town, I was like, yeah, no one cares that much.
Yeah. It's like in Blanford, you have similar things when there's a big crime, everybody comes together, and then immediately afterwards,
it's like nothing.
Yeah.
I've never seen that sort of like full community spirit. The closest I've ever seen it is back in our old house, just because a lot of the neighbours had similar age children to my siblings. Sort of like during the pandemic, we were all like, they would get together once a week and have what they called marshmallow night, because one of them had like a burning sort of stove thing that they put on their driveway, and the kids roasted marshmallow and played, and the adults talked. They're still all sort of friends and things. But I'm like, yeah, get about another year or so of us living here now, that connection is probably going to go.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that none of the neighbours around here have ever introduced themselves. How dare you? I'm a delight.
This is very true.
But it is, isn't it? Like everyone's seeing someone, everyone's living with a purpose, and they're like, "Oh, we love these people." They come together, and then it seems they're not interested anymore, and they're not a point of conversation, and they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go back to doing the butcher.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool, bye.
Yeah.
And they move and until they like, that's it.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's kind of what Grace all along, isn't it? You know, she's like, no one actually cares about us.
She was so much smarter than anyone gave her credit for, because she could see through all the fakeness, the fake niceties, and she was the only one that saw everyone for who they really were.
Yeah, she just actually watched all the time, sees everything. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, poor Grace.
I think it's probably why she liked Kara the best, because I think Kara was the most genuine person there.
And I think it's also because she's been away from that community. Like, she'd been off in Plymouth for a couple of years, you know, and had, like, she lived her life and came back, and she's not an outsider as such, but in the grand scheme of things, she kind of is.
Yeah.
Because she is quite independent anyway. And, like, you know, her mum saying, oh, I wish I was always jealous of Meg and Grace because we didn't have that relationship.
It's like, you want that kind of relationship? That is creepy.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I want you to stay my little girl forever. It's like, no, thank you. How's a non-binary individual? That is something you can't control. You don't have children to be able to control them. It's like, children grow up, children become adults, children make their own choices.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Grace has no sense of freedom at all. She can't make her own decisions. Choices. Can you tell I've been at work all day? Yeah. She's not allowed to make any of her own decisions, any choices that affect her. And I think when she gets that first chance, she goes too far. Like, it goes from 0 to 100 so quickly.
Just a little bit too far.
Yeah.
One thing that kind of bugged me the most was the whole trip to, is it Disneyland or somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, trip to
Hawaii.
It's like, I want to read the version of this story when Grace gets to go to Disneyland and never comes home again. You know?
Yeah.
She's living her best life with Mickey Mouse and whatever else.
She becomes a Disney princess.
Yeah.
I would have loved it if it was like you're going to, like, it's from everyone else's perspective, but it's like it was after Grace went to Hawaii, but then she went missing in Hawaii. They're like, what on earth is going on? And then you find out, like, from some bits from Grace's perspective and all that about, like, oh yeah, it's like, this was my chance. I'd sort of convinced my mum that, like, I convinced myself that this was all happening, like, all that. It's like, I remember in the real case, Gypsy was like, all I knew is that my legs worked. I didn't know about any of this other stuff. I didn't know if I actually had, like, cancer and all that. It's like, and also, a book set in Hawaii instead of being set in Cornwall. No offense to the West Country, but a Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii, guys. Someone take me to Hawaii.
Yeah, same. Book club road trip.
Yeah.
Not going to Moscow anymore then. Hawaii.
Yeah, we'll meet you in Hawaii, Janet.
Yeah, I'll, you know, take the Trans-Siberian Railway to, like, eastern Russia, and then fly to Alaska, and then drive from Alaska to wherever Hawaii is. Yeah. Boat, maybe.
Hawaii's in the ocean.
Yeah, no, but then I'll get a boat, or I'll fly from wherever in America to fly to Hawaii. Easy.
You'll get there. That's the point we're making.
Oh dear.
Point is, I'll be there.
Any other little things you want to discuss about this book?
I didn't actually make any notes, so that's why I'm struggling a little bit. I made one note. I've now turned off my Kindle because I was like, that's pointless. Oh, it's about, the scene when they're in, like, the town where the boy, what's his name, Danny died, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And Grace is in the pub talking to the lady, like, at the bar.
Oh, Cara.
Yeah,
Cara's
no,
talking to her,
not
yeah.
Grace. And then she said, one of the ladies says something like, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but like one of these like Londoners is going to come and get washed away, like in the they're talking about the current or something like that. And I was like, oh, John's a Londoner, something bad's going to happen to him. So
Yeah.
Guess what? He breaks his freaking leg and is in a wheelchair for how many months.
Yeah.
Well, literally the only thing I highlighted, and it's not even. It doesn't add anything to the story.
So there was so much weird foreshadowing that never came to pass. Like, there were Chekhov's guns laid all over the place and not a single one of them went off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's the bit when it's Kara's chapter. I was so confused. I had to read it twice and then I kind of got it. But she's. If you think she's watching Robbie from like behind this boulder because she hears someone coming down to the beach.
Yeah.
And then it's like he takes his hood off and it's like blonde hair. And then I was still like, oh, it's Robbie because it says Robbie, but it could have just, I don't know, that kind of confused me a bit. And I was like, then she's like, oh, but it's not Robbie, it's Grace. And then she yells Grace, and I was like, why is she yelling? Like, Robbie's right there. And then I had to read it again to realize it's not Robbie, it's Grace. That's why she's yelling Grace. There's only one person on the beach, not two. But,
yeah.
These twins are quite a confusing point, aren't they?
Yeah. They're a point of contention. Confusing contention. Confusing.
Yes.
Content. I don't know.
He's very well.
I tried. I'm very tired right now.
I always find it funny because my name is Zoe, my dad's name is John, my middle name is Bruce, and this is my auntie's name. And you are called Grace, like there are far too many names.
Well, Janet and I both know a Cara.
Radio.
Nori is also a type of seaweed.
There we go.
This is true.
We are this book.
It's a very tasty seaweed.
Thank you.
Cara from Radio, Janet.
Janet's like, who?
Radio.
Just lied.
Kara who?
Oh, I can't remember her last name. You're asking someone who's worked with her to remember things. Yes, I'm not going to do that.
I
Protect
can't remember Kara's, so sorry, Kara.
I was co-producer with her in her first year. So that would have been first year of my MA. Oh, you probably don't know her then.
After that, you don't
After all that, yeah, no, you won't know her.
Yeah.
I know Martin. I know Ben.
They're all very stereotypical white person names.
I was gonna say something that got me thinking about. If you like, have you seen all those videos on YouTube where it's like, if you like this book, you'll like this sort of thing. A couple that come to mind for me. Not that I read much of this genre, but one is a classic. Obviously, I've read some classics. But I have a degree in English literature. I don't know if you knew this.
Oh my god, same.
Oh my god, no way.
From Winchester.
Oh my goodness, Sam!
If you like classics, and if you like mystery and suspense, definitely The Woman in White.
I was going to say it's going to be The Woman in White.
I have a copy of that at home.
Same, it's Janet's favourite book.
You have to read it, honestly. It's like my favourite classic. It's got a lot of different perspectives, and it makes it so much better. But it is like this mystery, it's like a whodunit kind of thing. And there's twins in it! Oh my god, wait, is that a spoiler? I don't know if that's a spoiler. I'm not going to say anything.
We've already said it, so
we'll go with it.
Anyway, and then actually one I read last year, I completely forgot about this, was Graham Norton's A Keeper.
Yeah.
It's something super creepy set in Ireland, and it's got dual narrative.
Oh, I wanted to read that.
What is
It's
it?
very
A
good.
Keeper by Graham Norton.
Oh, I read The Holding. If that was Graham Norton as well.
I've got that, but I haven't read it. But
Yes,
A
you
Keeper
right.
I liked it. Yeah. Those are my recommendations. Grace is gone.
Amazing.
I can recommend my uncle's book, A Carol Christmas. Well, it was called Carol's Christmas. Carol Christmas. That's a mystery thriller. Good one.
I don't really read this genre very much, but I can recommend the Falco novels by Lindsay Davis because they're amazing. If you want a sassy Roman PI,
But now just recommending books that aren't
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. So
I think it's about time to wrap up. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and Nori, for joining us. I was about to say ladies, and then I was like, no, we have a non-binary bean.
I like the term friends and enemies.
Frenemies. Oh dear. Well, yeah. Thank you very much to anyone who has watched this on playback, and maybe to anyone who has hopped in and hopped out. So yes, thank you very much. Our next book club pick is Loveless by Alice Oseman, which is my pick. Then we are reading All Blood at Night. All Blood is Black by David Diop, which is Zoe's pick for August.
There.
Then September's pick, which is Janet. We are reading Transcendent Kingdom by Yagi. October is Nori's pick, which is Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia.
Over there on my other bookcase.
And November is The Binding by Bridget Collins. That's Mariette's second pick. So as soon as we have Grace's second pick, we shall go.
It's a surprise.
Are people free to do the quiz? Because I'm all set and ready to go with my questions.
I will be.
Maybe next weekend. With me.
Yeah.
Possibly next weekend. My
Week, so weekend is probably best.
Okay.
my life is very up in the air right now.
There it is. Just put it in our Facebook group chat and we'll go from there because I'm too tired right now.
This week we do.
Fair enough.
Right. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Nori's YouTube channel, Nori's Library.
I uploaded a new video today.
Janet's channel, Janet Bargman. Subscribe to this channel, A Novel Bunch, and subscribe to my channel, Jess Nipper.
And read my blog.
And read Zoe and Janet's blogs. They are linked in the description as well. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will see you soon for the quiz. Bye!